Remain in your seat when the seatbelt sign is on.
I'm gonna give myself a pass because I just looked at myself in the mirror and the fit is not fitting. I kind of walked in, saw myself, and I was like, damn, like I really presented myself like that today. It's okay though, because I'm not feeling well. But let me show you a tour of the place because it's actually pretty cute. So coming in, we have the bathroom to the left. This is great. There are my glasses and things. I forgot my soap bar for my hair, which is kind of tragic, but it's okay. So we're gonna try and use the hotel stuff. Here's the main area. The bed is honestly way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I will have one of my friends come. She's gonna stay with me here, so it's good that we have a big enough bed. And then they got a little bit of art, a lot of lighting, which I think is super cute. And then like this full length mirror. Here's the fit. Oh my God. Over here's my little setup. Yep, there's a book. I most definitely put it there and set it out to act like I was gonna read on this trip. Probably won't, but it is what it is. Half of my clothes, the rest of my clothes are in a drawer. For some reason, I've had this craving for Indian food for a while. Honestly, since I went to Spain and had like Indian food there at this really good Indian restaurant, I think that really just like fully turned me on to Indian food. And so I got some Indian food. I have to actually go and walk to get it, so y'all are gonna be walking with me. And so I figured while I wait for my food to be ready, I guess I should explain myself. You probably have a pretty good sense of what this video is about based off of the title, but honestly, I really went back and forth whether or not I wanted to post about this and record content for it. And that's because I feel like there are certain things that really don't need to be shared with the internet and things that are allowed to stay personal versus things that are, I guess, like shareable moments in life. And so I kind of went back and forth with doing an egg donation and wanting to share with you guys the process, just because I was a little nervous about backlash and what people may think about doing an egg donation. But then honestly, I thought about it and I literally posted my abortion like as the second video on this account. And so I feel like I already started this account with a lot of transparency surrounding things that go on in my life. And yeah, I don't know. I think this process is super interesting, and the only reason I think I want to post it now is because I think it's really cool. I think the process is cool. I think the concept of egg donation is also really cool. So I thought I'd share with y'all, I guess, the final part of this egg donation process. I initially started this process, I want to say in like February, so it's taken almost a year to complete, but this is kind of like the bulk of everything that's really happening because there's a lot of steps as far as just like the application and doing background tests and psychological tests that go on. So I feel like it's a really slow process in the beginning, and then once you're finally approved, which I think took me about like, I want to say like 6 months. I want to say from February to August, September. I want to say February to October. It was still very much like up in the air whether or not I'll be able to fully do the process. And so I think the beginning of October is when I got my official approval and invite to do an actual egg donation cycle. And since then, it's just been a lot of going to clinics, blood tests, different tests and things. And then now here I am in San Francisco. I'm going to be here for 10 days and I'm going to have my egg retrieval done. So yeah. So an egg donation is exactly what it sounds like. I'm working with a clinic here in San Francisco. I'm not gonna give out any information about that just because I don't think I want y'all to know that much information, but honestly, I didn't even realize egg donations were a thing until someone close to me had done it and they told me about the process, and I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I feel like they told me and then maybe like half a year went by and I was like, I think I want to do that as well. So I actually went through the clinic that they chose to do it through, and they're local to this area, which is why it's in San Francisco, even though I was living in Los Angeles at the time and now live in Seattle. But I really like this clinic so far. I really like how they operate and do things, and it just feels like a really warm and welcoming environment. And so I really appreciate that. And the reason why I decided to do an egg donation is honestly for two reasons. I feel like the rise in infertility is not something that's spoken up about enough in mainstream media. I feel like if you're in that world and it's something that you're interested in, it's known, but I feel like there's such a fear of being fertile and pregnancy within our society outside of like the parameters that are expected, that it's more so a fear of our bodies and a fear of fertility rather than the discussion that a lot of people are infertile and that number is rising. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do an egg donation is because I believe fertility is a gift, and I feel like childbearing is a gift, and to be such a like minuscule part of somebody's story and their birth journey and their pregnancy journey, I think is just really beautiful. I'm finding it hard to phrase it in a way that's less about me and more about that person and their story, but I just think it's a really cool position to be in, to be able to give something so precious and so personal and dear to someone who desires it but may not be able to naturally receive that. I think outside of being a womb-bearing body that can't conceive naturally, there are also just other factors and lifestyles that exist out there where having a natural birth is not an option. And so I think it's just a really cool process and a really cool concept to be able to help somebody out, help a family out, a person out, and yeah, give in that way. That's one reason. The other reason is very real, and it's also the money as well, because it does pay quite well to be an egg donor. And I'm not going to disclose how much I am receiving for this. The amount that you're paid for doing an egg donation, plus the reason for doing so, and I think the ethics and morals behind the clinic that I'm going through, I think just made it kind of like an appealing process to me. And it's interesting too, because it goes past just like genetic tests. I also did like a personality test. I had to give a lot of information about the things that I'm interested in, the things that I'm doing, what my upbringing was, and I feel like it was just a very holistic application in of itself, which I think is really cool. You're also required to submit photos as well, just because, you know, that family would want to see who their child is coming from and just kind of like what they look like, you know. I wasn't really sure in the beginning my likelihood of being approved, but from there it's just been more screening, more tests, blood work, and mainly a lot of waiting, I would say too. Now, once I was approved is when I actually started doing medication, and I'm gonna show you guys later tonight what my medication process is, because I feel like that was the part that I was most nervous about, because they are syringe injections, and I've never injected myself with anything or had to be responsible with something like that. So I think that was the part that I was most nervous about, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. It's like a little pinch, but honestly, as someone who has cats, I feel like I am tormented a lot more each day with those cat claws than I am with the syringe every night. So yeah, it wasn't bad. And before this process, I was doing natural birth control, so I was just tracking my basal body temperature, so I wasn't on any type of birth control. I will say though that at the beginning of my cycle, just so they can kind of control the timeline of when I ovulate, they did have me go on birth control, so that wasn't fun. I mean, I didn't particularly care. If you're someone though who is really against birth control and not interested in doing that, maybe this isn't for you. But for me, I went off birth control because I don't like how it makes me feel. Natural birth control has been 20 times better for me, and so after this process, I'm definitely going back to that. I am not a hormonal birth control girly, so yeah, but I went on for 2 weeks for this process. It wasn't too bad, but I was nauseous every single day, which is one of the main reasons why I went off birth control. Constantly nauseous, constantly had a tummy ache. So that was kind of hell, but it was only for 2 weeks, so it is what it is. Now I'm doing my syringe medication, and I have a couple more medications that I'll be doing throughout this 10-day process before doing my egg retrieval. And I think the egg retrieval is also pretty cool, because the way that it works is, instead of producing and preparing one follicle for ovulation, I'm taking medication that essentially grows all the follicles in that cycle to then be retrieved. So it's pretty cool, because it's not like they're going into my future egg reserve, I guess you could say, follicle reserve. It's more so targeting one cycle, sort of like regulating it and controlling it so that they're able to retrieve it before my body naturally ovulates, but taking medication that stimulates all of my follicles and grows them all so that they can be retrieved. So essentially they're just working with one cycle. They're not working with any future follicles and what's happening. It's not like I'm going to be less fertile after this, or I have one less cycle. I guess in total, it's more so just working with this one cycle, which would have gone to waste anyways because it's not like I want a child right now. One thing that I really appreciated is I had to do a psychiatric kind of screening with a psychologist, and honestly, it kind of shook me when I did that. I went into it feeling like I was really confident about doing my egg donation, and then after conversations with her, it did bring up a lot of fears that I had, one of them being infertility, because infertility is a potential risk. It's really low. It's like less than 0.5%. But I think one thing that really concerned me was just the idea that I could go in to do an egg donation cycle to donate for someone else and then in turn lose my fertility for giving eggs to someone else. Because once the cycle is completed, I legally don't have any ownership of those eggs, so it's not like I could just come back and say I'd like my eggs back. Like, they belong to the clinic, which means I would have to go through the process as if I were someone interested doing like in vitro or some type of natural birth. And so that kind of scared me, because who wants to donate eggs to somebody and then find out that they're infertile because of it? Like, I don't know, that freaked me out. It thoroughly freaked me out. And then another thing too was she had asked if I have any like religious or spiritual beliefs that would stop me from wanting to do this egg donation. And at first I was like, no, but then I thought about it, and I don't know, I have a lot of love for my body, and I believe that my body is sacred, and something so sacred as life and my eggs is something that is really precious to me. And so I think I had to take a step back and really think about it with that question too, because as much as I don't feel any type of ownership over my eggs, like I don't feel like if someone were to conceive with my eggs that that child would be mine, or I have any ownership or entitlement to my DNA like that. But as much as the money for doing this is appealing to me, I think that my body is priceless. Like, I wouldn't put a price tag on it, and if I did, it would be way more than what's being offered or is typically offered for an egg donation. So I think that was another thing for me too. I would say the money is nice, but it's definitely not a reason to go through with this, because our bodies are invaluable and worth way more than anyone could pay. And I want to emphasize that your body is worth way more than anyone would pay for it. And so that was something else that kind of tripped me out for a little while. But then, I don't know, I kind of processed it, and I decided I still wanted to go through with the process. And so here I am. Guys, I was talking to you and I completely forgot that I have to go get my food. So I'm now on the streets of San Francisco. Pray for me that I don't get mugged, because I couldn't take any weapons with me on the plane. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna keep talking though, because
Take a slight left turn on Taylor Street. Then at 500 feet, take a slight left turn on Columbus Avenue.
I feel like that in essence was also one of the reasons why I was really nervous to post about doing a retrieval, because I like genuinely value
At the next light, take a slight left turn.
my essence, and I think my body is invaluable, and me deciding to go through with this retrieval in no way is me viewing my body as anything with a price tag on it. Back secured. Yay! Water, garlic naan, rice. I forgot the name of this. All right, guys, it's called, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's sagosht. It's lamb, ginger, tomato, spices, I believe, and spinach. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. I love when you crave something and it's exactly what you're craving. So yummy. Garlic naan's already a 10 out of 10, you know. Wow. All right, I'm about to make a mess. I was gonna do like one big post at the end of the week, but honestly, I think I'm gonna just wrap up tonight and this will be post number 1. And I think I'm gonna push myself to maybe vlog the whole 10 days because 10 days is a long time. I could do a lot. And I really don't wanna be stuck sitting in here for the 10 days outside of my appointments. So consider this vlog 1 in San Francisco. And if nothing else comes after, just know I was in San Francisco for 10 days and may or may not have had a good time. Probably a good time though. If this sparks your interest in egg donation, like most things, of course, there is risk to be had. But I don't know. I just think it's a really cool process to give like the gift of life to somebody in ways that you can, you know? I do think at the age of 18, that person can choose to reach out to you and connect to you. I think they keep my information for that purpose. If I do agree to that, you can be completely anonymous or not, but this particular clinic can't be fully anonymous because my profile needs to be up. Ugh, this food is so good. I'm a little scared it's gonna hurt my tum-tum though. I have such a sensitive stomach, so I gotta take it easy. Leave any questions though down below. If you're interested in more specifics as in which clinic I went to or which clinic I'm going through, yada yada and such, I may or may not tell you. Not that it's a secret, but just for personal reasons, I don't really think I want to share that with the internet. But yeah, I thought I'd share this with y'all because it's been a cool process. Maybe in some later vlogs, I'll share some more about what the process is exactly. Oh, I haven't shown y'all my injections yet. All right, so over here we have one medication and that's essentially everything that goes with it. I have to mix that and, you know, that's one injection. Sharps container injection that I'll be doing today for the first time. Some sanitary wipes. And then in here is another medication that I do and it needs to stay refrigerated. All right, so I'm gonna just get into it. Y'all, it's so hard after doing this for like 6 days. Oh, it was not even that bad. Oh my gosh. It's never as bad when you actually stab it. Like I said, it's really not that painful, but I feel like for me, it's just the thought freaks me out. So then I like freak myself out, but it's never actually that bad. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's never that bad when I'm actually like injecting myself, but I feel like the buildup and the thought of like pain because I'm stabbing myself with a needle always freaks me out a little bit. I'm not like squeamish or anything around needles or blood or anything, but I've never had to inject myself with anything before, so it kind of freaks me out still. I would say the first day that I did it, I felt absolutely no pain, and I think it's because I had so much adrenaline going through me. Now that I kind of know what to expect as far as like the pain level, I feel like it's low-key gotten more painful because I'm telling myself, oh, it's not even that bad. So when I feel like the slightest of pinches, I'm like, oh my God. But Oh no, that's all I do. So yeah, that's the process. I'm gonna call it a night. I think I'm gonna take a shower and then I'm literally just gonna watch some TV in bed maybe. And then I have an appointment tomorrow morning. I think this will conclude like vlog day 1, and kind of like sharing with y'all my egg donation journey. But yeah, hopefully I have the time and the willpower to do a couple more vlogs while I'm here, because I do have the time. So yeah, hopefully I'll see y'all soon. Okay, bye guys.